It's Tuesday, July 7th, 2026, and it's time for The Swamp, where I cover the daily happenings inside our federal machine. And if you enjoyed the video, please give a quick like and subscribe, drop a comment, ring the bell, and I'll keep you up to date on everything happening in the Swamp Monday through Friday. And every article in this video is linked below in the description, and the highlight segments from tonight's episode will be dropping right here on this channel tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. We're going to get things started with U.S. Central Command. They are back in the news today, and not for very good reasons. The whole situation with Iran is popping off yet again through no fault of the U.S. It's Iran again, and it probably will be again if things happen to get all crazy again. Anyway, U.S. Central Command forces have begun launching a series of powerful strikes against Iran to impose heavy costs for targeting and attacking commercial shipping crewed by innocent civilians in an international waterway. The U.S. strikes are in response to Iranian attacks on 3 commercial vessels that were transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Iran demonstrated aggression was unwarranted, as well as dangerous, and a clear violation of the ceasefire. From Raw's alerts, the U.S. has revoked a license authorizing Iranian oil sales after a tanker attacks near the Strait of Hormuz, after a tanker was struck by Iranian attacks in the Strait of Hormuz, or near the Strait of Hormuz. So it sounds like as far as Iran selling oil to the international market, that is off the table. No thanks to what they've been engaging with, trying to strike more innocent vessels. Anyway, Eric Daugherty, holy crap, President Trump and the U.S. military have just launched strikes against Iran, while 47, President Trump is in Turkey after the mullahs attacked vessels in the Strait. FAFO, U.S. Central Command forces. Okay, so I already read all that, and we've got a video segment. Let's see if this is directly related.
Another reported tanker strike in the Strait of Hormuz. We think 2 have been struck. It might be more, but we'll hang on. Hang on to 2 for the moment. A tanker struck by an unknown projectile trying to transit the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently, another one made a U-turn and turned around. No casualties reported. Vessels are being advised to transit with caution. Meanwhile, from Fox Business, they've obtained audio of an Iranian threatening the ships in the strait, and here is how that sounded in English.
This is the last warning. This is last warning. This is last warning. You are running danger. Don't put your life in danger. You are ordered to alter course. Support us immediately. Alter course. Support us immediately and use the south of Florida Island to exit. If you disobey, you will be targeted.
Again, okay, so the south of, what is that, Larak Island? Not sure if that's Iranian territory or not. What, they're trying to get him to do a U-turn or to turn into Iranian territory, maybe? I don't know if they're trying to hijack that vessel or what, but it clearly seems, I think it's just blatantly obvious that the Iranian regime is completely fractured, that the officials at the top level are supposed to be honoring this temporary peace agreement that we have in place for up to 60 days, whereas I don't know, maybe just on-the-ground officers or other factions in the Iranian regime are just not playing ball, I guess. Who knows, but this ended up happening today, so here we are yet again. President Trump's strikes against Iran tonight are being described as punishment, not proportional, after the mullahs violated the MOU, which is that temporary peace agreement, and struck vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. CNN citing a U.S. official. And the president's safe at his hotel tonight in Turkey and made clear that he's not afraid to unleash regardless of where he is. Yeah, that sounds like Trump. New footage shows huge fires breaking out in Bandar Abbas per Rapid Report 2025. The strikes are still ongoing. And this post was roughly about 3 hours ago. Local time in Turkey, it's around the 4 a.m. hour, so President Trump's probably been in his hotel for at least a few hours at this point. Let's see what they might show in this.
Because of these strikes on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz that happened yesterday. It seemed at that point that that was the only kind of retaliation that they were going to do until just about 15 minutes ago,
as far as we're concerned, as of this recording.
Launching these strikes in Iran as another form of retaliation for striking those vessels. Here's what they posted on X. They said, U.S. Central Command forces have begun launching a series of powerful strikes against Iran to impose heavy costs for targeting and attacking commercial shipping crewed by innocent civilians in an international waterway. The U.S. strikes are in response to Iranian attacks on 3 commercial vessels that were transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's demonstrated aggression was unwarranted, dangerous, dangerous and a clear violation of the ceasefire. Now, I do want to get to the NATO of it all in 1 second, but just a quick reminder that part of the deal in the memorandum of understanding for the ceasefire, the 60-day negotiating period, was that in exchange for the lifting of the sanctions as well as the removal of the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, Iran would help the safe passage for these commercial vessels.
Well, they should be supposed to be helping safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz because they said that they're not going to interfere with passage through the Strait of Hormuz. So she said yesterday, because she's in Ankara, Turkey, local time is 12:33 a.m. That's what she meant by yesterday. The attack happened hours ago. Didn't happen a full day ago. It happened relatively a short while ago. Today, as in Tuesday, July the 7th. Anyway, let's head to Overton. Just in, the U.S. military launched a series of powerful strikes against Iranian positions after the regime targeted commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM says the strikes are intended to send a message that attacks on civilian vessels in international waters will come with very heavy consequences. And okay, I believe we've already gotten that message from CENTCOM. Let's see if there's any. Actually, this might just be that breaking news. Yeah, it's just that generic breaking news. All right. According to Axios' Barak Ravid, the U.S. retaliatory strikes targeted Iran's air defense systems, as well as coastal surveillance sites, surface-to-air missiles, anti-cruise ship missile positions, drone launch sites, and port facilities across southern Iran. I thought we obliterated all this. I mean, President Trump told us time and time again that they have nothing anymore. It's all completely gone. It's been all obliterated. They have no means of offensive military at all. Now, I get the surface-to-air missiles. I think those are mobile, aren't they? They can just drive those up with those big trucks and whatnot. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I guess I would give them a pass on that. Maybe with drones, because I suppose it depends on the size of the drones. They could probably throw one in the back of a truck and then send it wherever. But, I mean, anti-cruise ship missile positions and coastal surveillance sites, air defense systems. I don't know, man. I just thought that we already had all this taken care of, but evidently not. And so a U.S. official told me the targets included Iranian air defense systems. Okay, we already read that. And I think we already got that too for breaking 911. Massive explosions rock Iran's Hormozgan province after U.S. airstrikes targeted military strikes. Let's take a look at this.
Whoa.
Whoa. Uh-oh. Whoa.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. That's bad. They fucked up.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I got it all. Explosions. Now, for the record, just so I don't get hit with misinformation or anything, this could have possibly been from some other event. This isn't 100% ironclad proof that this did indeed happen just hours ago. It's footage. You know, how things just end up playing out on the X platform. I do believe that breaking 911, like at least 90% of the time, I would consider them trustworthy. So I guess just take it for what it is. And another one from the same account, breaking massive fire burns at Shahid Haqqani port after U.S. airstrikes. Here's another one. Big ass fire, man. Yep, it's looking rough out there, man. FAFO. Better quit what they're doing, man. That's all I gotta say. Better quit what they're doing. I'm not sure how long the strikes are gonna last. They didn't say how long they're gonna go for. Is the peace agreement completely off the table? That's also, from my understanding, still to be determined. I don't think that everything is completely, like, all bets are off at this point. I believe that Trump is gonna try to continue down the same path that we've been going down in light of what happened. Although time, I guess, will only tell. And President Trump, he's over in Turkey. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But he's there for, I believe it's a NATO summit that they're there discussing. And let's move on to the next topic. This is from SCOTUS Wire. Just weeks after Judge Sparkle Sooknanan vacated the Save Systems Social Security number search and bulk upload features, a federal judge in Florida ordered the agency to restore those same features, which states use to verify citizenship and immigration status for voter rolls. President Trump signed an executive order, I believe it was last year. It was like last April or something like that. Where he signed an executive order for this exact system to be used when it comes to trying to secure our elections just a little bit more than, you know, because it's just been, I guess, kind of loosey-goosey, to put it lightly. Well, this activist judge, who apparently wasn't even born in the U.S., whatever, ended up striking down President Trump's executive order. And the order that she put in place that struck down Trump's executive order, it was expected to get overturned because the Supreme Court's already ruled more than once recently that federal judges can't issue sweeping bans based on presidential executive orders. They can only issue orders as it pertains to their whatever district that they're in. Only a regional order, not something that sweeps across the country. But anyway, this judge, a new judge in my state, in the state of Florida, also a federal judge, went the opposite direction and ordered the agency to restore those features that were stricken down by this activist judge. And the order reads, this is only one page, one of 10. This case is before the court based on plaintiff's emergency motion to enforce settlement agreement, doc number 32. Upon due consideration of the motion, the declaration submitted by plaintiffs, defendant's response in opposition and its attachment, plaintiff's reply, and the amicus brief filed by the League of Women Voters and the Electronic Privacy Information Center, the court finds that the motion is due to be granted for the reasons that follow. And it follows on page 2, which I don't have offhand right in front of me, but maybe the next post might have a link to it. Perhaps not. Usually SCOTUS Wire links it. Okay, here we go. So Judge T. Kent Wetherill II held DHS breached a court-approved settlement by disabling the save features after Judge Sparkle Sooknanan's ruling. He also expressly disagreed with her legal analysis, concluding the Social Security number search and bulk upload features do not violate federal law. The result is an unusual judicial standoff. One federal court has ordered DHS to eliminate the save features, while another has ordered the agency to restore them. Unless one order is stayed or modified, the conflict is likely headed to the appellate courts for resolution. And here's the ruling I was looking for. Again, I believe it's 11 pages in total. 10 pages. 10 pages in total. This will be linked below in the description if you want to have a look at all of that. And let's head on to the next post. I think it's still related to this. Let's see, another one from Eric. Wow, in a massive ruling, a Trump, Florida federal judge just overruled foreign-born activist Judge Sparkle Sooknanan reinstates the SAVE system that lets President Trump's team root out illegal aliens trying to vote in elections. Judge Kent Wetherill of Florida confirmed it. The plaintiff's access to the bulk uploaded and Social Security number search features in the SAVE system. Wetherill even called out Sooknanan's ruling, saying SAVE systems do not violate the law. That's the exact system Sooknanan ruled against. Total judicial war. Man, she's tripping me up. Now impeach the foreign judge and confirm more, like Judge Wetherill. So I don't think this really has anything in it. No, it's just two judges. You know, there's Sooknanan, and then there's Wetherill at the bottom. All right, Overton, John Fetterman. We're going to move on to the next thing. Just broke from his party's usual rhetoric and praised Elon Musk as a modern-day Thomas Edison. Fetterman ripped into the critics like Graham Platner, who attacked Musk's wealth, asking why anyone would hate a visionary who builds companies and creates jobs, especially somebody like Elon Musk. They're just pissed because he likes Trump, that he got on Trump's side, and they're just all pissy about it because he was the left's golden child, the Democrats' golden child. He rolled out electric vehicles. He really put America on a real pathway for everyone to own electric and they could get rid of gas vehicles. He was going to save the environment. He's helping us get to space, eventually get to Mars. I mean, everybody worshipped him on the left at some point. Obviously, that's not the case anymore. So instead of reading all of these quotes, we're just going to get straight to the video and hear what Fetterman says.
I'm in awe of what he's accomplished. You know, we're the same age. He's so far more successful and smarter than I could ever be. And then you have people, the guy from Maine said that he's our first trillionaire. Let's make sure he's the last one. And I'm like, why do you hate a guy?
Up,
he builds rockets, he builds cars for thing. I mean,
digs giant
how
holes.
many jobs have you created? What you think? So this idea. That would be like hating on, Thomas Edison or these other kind of entrepreneurs.
It actually would. It really would. He is the modern day Thomas Edison.
100%.
Well,
I'm in awe.
I mean, basically. I don't know if he invented as many things as Thomas Edison did, but to be fair, how much stuff did Thomas Edison invent as opposed to stealing other people's hard work, though, too? But are progressives supposed to be progressive? Aren't they supposed to progress forward? So you would think that you would want more people like Elon Musk trying to progress us into the future, not try to drag us into freaking dystopic utopia. Plus, I think the left really hates Elon Musk because he likes to play the internet meme game, and the left just can't meme. RNC Research, Abdul Al-Sayed, or Sayed, I believe he's running for Senate in Michigan. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure he's from Michigan, but I'm pretty sure he's running for Senate. He says he will vote against the Democrat Party leadership. The moderator says, will you continue on the current party path, or will you pursue your own path of leadership? And El Sayed says, I will pursue my own path of leadership.
Is the Democratic Party shifting? Joe Bielan has our next question. He says, many of my friends who are Democrats are very concerned with the way the party has shifted so far left that the party no longer accurately represents their views. Will you continue on the current party path, or will you pursue your own path of leadership?
60 seconds for you.
I'll pursue my own path of leadership, educated by the countless days that I spent talking to Michiganders across 110 cities, 450 public events.
Yeah, okay. So he's going to pursue his own path, which means he's probably not going to stick with the Democratic establishment. He's going to go down the road of communism. And if that's the case, then he's probably not listening to a lot of his constituents. And I got another one from him, Abdul Al-Sayed. I'm the only candidate in the race who has the courage to run and say, abolish ICE.
I'm the only candidate in the race who has the courage to run to guarantee health care, or to say that we just got to abolish ICE because it's unconstitutional what they're doing right now.
Can't be right.
I'm the only candidate in the race who has the courage.
All right. Well, and also the whole abolish ICE thing. So he's for complete open borders. He wants to flood the entire world into the United States of America, turn us into a third world hellhole, because that's what it would be. If you flood 1 billion people from the third world, then that's what it's going to end up being. But you can't make healthcare right, because healthcare costs money. And if you make it a right, that means it's going to be at the detriment of people who administer the healthcare. You're going to force them against their will to provide healthcare because, well, we have to force you to do it because it's a human right. So you can't say no. So that's why it all falls apart, because you just can't do that. You're kind of advocating for slavery. And from Dave Rubin, may God have mercy on our souls. So what's he talking about? From Polymarket, breaking AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez soars to an all-time high in the odds to be the 2028 Democratic nominee. She's now within 2 points of Gavin Newsom. So I think I would go the opposite direction. I wouldn't say may God have mercy on us. I would say, oh God, please make that be so. Please let her be the front runner for 2028 and have her run against J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or whoever's going to be the front runner in 2028. That's assuming that she would be doing the debates. I somehow have a feeling that if she were the front runner in 2028, she might just bail out of the debates, whether if it's last minute or if maybe she's just running on the platform like, well, I have no intention on doing the debates. I got hard work to do. So I have to go and talk to the constituents. I don't have time to be wasting talking to the party of terrorism and white supremacy and all that other bullshit. Because I don't think that she's going to hold her own in a debate at all. I'm sure she's probably debated before, at least not. I haven't seen her debate in the past. Not to say, again, that she wouldn't. I would just think that would be absolutely just catastrophic to her campaign if she actually debated the likes of Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance. From Nanli Marie Karasimi, she says, fact right here, socialism has a 100% success rate of failing, the religion of the imbecile and the fraud. So it looks like we got Dan Bongino on Fox News.
Socialism has a 100% success rate of failing. Like, there's not a single example. I always call it the religion of the imbecile and the fraud.
But they're not socialists.
Because there are only 2 types of socialists. People who don't know what it is and who know what it is but don't live by it themselves. I mean, that Bernie interview with Bret Baier on the network was classic. He's like, hey, you fly private, Bernie. He's like, yeah, like, what do you expect me to, like, sit in line with, like, the great unwashed and stuff? Like, dude, did you just say that out loud? Like, you're out there railing against the millionaires and billionaires. Those weren't his exact words, but the gist of it was, what do you want me to sit online with everyone else? Yeah, that's what communism and socialism are.
That's exactly what it is. Rules for thee, not for me. And he keeps screaming about the oligarchy this, and we got to get rid of the oligarchy that. Well, if you roll out socialism and eventually communism, it only allows the oligarchy to stay where they are forever, allows them to pull the ladder up from under them so nobody else gets a fair shot. That's what's great about capitalism. The little person still has a fair shot to overthrow whoever's up there at the top, because families are always rising and falling in America. That's the way it works, or at least so far. And from In Wokeness, the Views, Sonny Hostin says, I feel unsafe if a neighborhood has American flags. Well, you can't make this shit up.
There are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe.
unbelievable. I cannot believe anybody who watches this, even the brain dead feminists who watch this. I mean, for real, like you're really gonna get extreme anxiety because you're surrounded by American flags in the middle of America. This is absolute lunacy. From Overton, this may go down as one of the most awkward appearances in The View's history. It just kept getting worse throughout the entire 3-minute exchange. Sunny Austin confronted Marjorie Taylor Greene over a deleted X post in which she claimed Greene suggested Graham Platner's accuser was using R for politics, and they go back and forth a lot. So this is going to get very interesting. It's a hell of a lot of quotes.
Let me ask you this, because yesterday on X, in a now deleted post, you accused Platner's accuser of doing, quote, rape for politics, end quote, stating that she had consensual sex with him years ago.
No, I didn't accuse. I
did at one point.
I said women should report rape.
Right,
because
early
you
on.
want to know why? We want to get these rapists off the street.
Early on in the tweet, and I'll tell you, I'm a former sex crimes prosecutor. As they were trying to,
yeah, but you're misquoting me. I wish you'd put my, if you put my deleted tweet.
We have
up.
it. We have it.
I'm sure they do.
Please.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
we'll get it. Okay. Well,
will they look for it? But I just want to make sure my words aren't twisted around.
Can someone bring my phone out to me?
You don't have your phone? Since when do you not have your phone?
Yeah.
Well, what I recall, because I do have the post, but it has not been deleted. You did say that women should report early, and I will tell you, as a former sex crimes prosecutor, women, it is the most underreported crime in our country because women are not believed, and because it is very difficult. They're defamed, and it's very difficult for them to do it.
Right.
Also, I will tell you, you also wrote that she had consensual sex with him years ago. The fact that someone dates people or has had consensual sex with them previously does not mean that they cannot be raped. Married women can be raped. Sex workers can be raped. And that is often, because I've handled some of those cases.
You and I are in agreement here.
Well, we're not.
No,
because I want to know why you would post that and accuse her of rape for politics.
Well, I would like to know why you wouldn't put up my actual post.
Because we're going to do it.
Right. Yeah. Why aren't you doing it?
Because I wasn't accusing her.
Your exact quote.
No, put it up on the screen for all of us.
If you were raped or sexually assaulted, report it immediately. Yes. Don't wait for years later until the man runs for office to go to news outlets to tell your story. And if you had consensual sex with him years ago, don't turn it into rape for politics with conflicting stories.
Those are three.
Is that correct?
No, those are three separate pieces of it.
I do want
to get to it. That's not.
So can you answer my question? Why did you post that?
Absolutely. I posted that because I support women who have been raped or sexually assaulted.
Only if they report it immediately.
I want them to have justice.
But not if they've had consensual sex before.
Then secondly, don't wait until they're running for office. We need to know early on.
She was warning the public.
I was warning the public.
No, but this woman is warning the public.
I'm saying the public needs to be warned because rapists need to be convicted.
I do want to ask you about...
So it's the woman's fault.
No, Sonny, it's not the woman's fault. Not at all.
Congressman, I want to ask you about another...
Just like it's not Americans with flags in front of their house's fault, and it should not be offensive.
All right. Obviously, I don't watch The View. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene a regular on here now? I thought I heard that a few weeks ago or a month or so ago that they were flirting with that idea of putting her on there as a regular, like the regular conservative on The View. All right, so Bernie Sanders, he says, I have spoken with Graham Platner about the best path forward for Maine in light of these very serious allegations. I have recommended that he step aside. With Bernie Sanders, he was basically his running mate for almost this entire thing the whole time he's been on the campaign trail. I think Bernie Sanders has been by his side almost the entire freaking time. So it looks like Bernie Sanders is backing out from Graham Platner. And let's see... From Nick Sordor, just now, John Fetterman directly calls for Bernie Sanders to apologize for communists like Graham Platner. I would really call on Bernie Sanders to apologize for pushing this kind of predator more than anyone, which he's absolutely right. Bernie Sanders was with him constantly. Maybe should stop pushing these communists.
But your party was willing, your party leaders, not you, was willing to look past all these other allegations against him, from the other woman who said he grabbed her, to the tattoo, the Nazi tattoo, to all the other Reddit posts that had been dug up. So they were willing to overlook all of that because he was their star.
Yeah, I mean, I refuse to overlook that. But honestly, I would really call Bernie Sanders to apologize for pushing this kind of predator more than anyone. He helped him elect, and now apologize to the victims, especially the woman that she claimed that he raped her. So I don't know why you want to keep pushing these kinds of people. Maybe he should consider set a few out and stop pushing these kind of communists and people. And now people, like P. Hustle now, he has been credibly accused of rape. And that's fairly recent too. That was only less than 5 years ago.
Well, he said that allegations are untrue, but that he's basically reviewing his options. He's obviously going to drop out, correct?
Well, he was already a dead man walking politically. Regardless, now when the entire Democratic Party in Maine has called him to leave, and now also,
we're going,
as far as
going
I
through
know,
them right now, one by one.
Gillibrand and other leadership in the DS and other people have all called him, had to go.
It's
He's
over.
a dead man walking. I don't know why he's trying to pretend that he's not done too. Even those Pod Save America people that pushed that dirtbag, and they dismissed those things in the New York Times article. Maybe they ought to apologize to the women that clearly they didn't believe, or they dismissed that. I know Democrats that have, back to back endorsed and got all in on Swalwell, and were on the Platner train as well too. So maybe stop, getting on bed with absolute dirtbags, someone like Platner.
Well, only 100%. And what's with all these Democrats and forceful penetration? I mean, I don't even know. That's just kind of weird that they're just engaging in that. It seems to be somewhat of a common occurrence on the Democrat side. And so that is John Fetterman's response to Bernie Sanders fully endorsing him and essentially holding his hand throughout the entire campaign trail. And again, I haven't heard what they're going to do with regard to replacing him. He hasn't officially stepped down or canceled his campaign, at least not as of this recording, or I guess I would probably have to say as of an hour before I started recording. So maybe he has already stepped down, or not stepped down, but already backed out from his campaign. Maybe not. Maybe he'll stick to his guns and he'll just stick through it. I'm sure that the Democrats they're gonna force him out one way or another, because I believe that they have until July 27th to essentially replace him before it's really too late. So the clock's ticking, and they're really coming down to the last minute. It surprises me. Well, look, if his accuser was doing this for full-on political reasons, it would have been a much better advantage for her agenda to do so after July 27th, when the Democrats would have been completely screwed, because they still have a window to replace him with somebody else. So that door hasn't closed just yet. So if she only waited a couple of more weeks, then the Democrats would have really been screwed as far as Maine is concerned. And from Rashida Tlaib, I am withdrawing my endorsement of Graham Platner and calling on him to exit the race immediately so that he can be replaced by a progressive fighter, a communist, who will deliver for the people and help him win back the Senate. Not to say that Graham Platner is not a communist. Sure, he is a full-on communist. These allegations are devastating and must be taken seriously. Because as far as the Democratic Party is concerned, you are always guilty unless you prove yourself to be innocent, because that is the system that they want. From May's Elizabeth Warren on Graham Platner. He's my kind of man, so that's how she's reacting to this.
Because Washington needs fighters, and Graham Platner is the fighter we need. You bet. I said to myself,
you heard it.
That's my kind of man.
Uh-oh. Oh my God, dude.
Because that is
she get greasy in the bedroom now, don't she?
Who not only has the values, but a man who believes in accountability. And we need a little accountability coming out of Washington right now.
I guess we'll find that out very soon.
We need Graham Platner to come in and get rid of the corruption in Washington. Time for new laws.
Oh man, bad choice of words. Come in and
I am here.
Blank Washington. Okay. So for the record, this may possibly have not been today. It might have been like just maybe a little bit before today. I would just I would go as far as to assume that to be the case. From Aaron Rupar, Mom Donnie on Platner. I believe it's time for him to drop out of the race. So even Mom Donnie's
you have a sort of ascendant role in the Democratic Party. Could you talk about the Maine Senate race? Do you think that Graham Platner should drop out of the race? And do you have any intention of endorsing any candidates in competitive races outside of New York, El Said, or anyone else?
Because he's the head communist of the Democratic Party.
I believe that it's time for him to drop out of the race. And when it comes to my own endorsements, I've made 8 endorsements at the state and federal level. They've all been right here in New York City. I'm incredibly excited at the fact that they won their races, and that's where my focus is for now.
Okay.
You know, I think the focus of today should be to respond to the gravity of what so many of us have read, and I think that the only appropriate response is for the campaign to come to an end.
Look, nobody's talking about this, but I believe the Democrats are going to treat Zohran Mamdani as Obama 2.0. They're going to treat him as their ultimate golden child. He's here to usher the Democratic Party into a new age, usher America into a new socialist age, and I believe that's what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be 2028. It might not be until perhaps 2032 when that happens, but I'm almost fairly certain that that's exactly their plan. Whether that's going to actually play out or not so sure. It just depends on how successful he is in dragging New York City into communism over the next few years. If he's quite successful at it, then I don't know, man. I don't think he would probably have that much of a future in the running for president. From Cory Booker, even Cory Booker is chiming in. Enough is enough. Graham Platner needs to step aside. He keeps it short and simple, to the point. He got ratioed 7,000 to 4,800 comments. And from the Babylon Bee, the Dems are wishing there had been some sort of sign that Platner was a bad person because he totally hasn't been involved in 9 scandals, and somebody was keeping count as I read that post last night. 9. This is his 9th scandal already. Graham Platner for Senate. So I don't believe that I'm going to play this entire thing because I played this yesterday. So if you want to watch the whole thing, I'll just play like the first part because that's when he addresses the allegations. And let me see. I'll go ahead and just repost this. There's a direct link to my profile in the description below. Or if you really want to, you could go to Graham Platner's profile and view it there. But let's just check out the first little bit.
Address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false. Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith Mainers have put in me. You have welcomed me into your homes.
Okay, whatever. So he said it's false. They're full of shit. It didn't even happen. Blah, blah, blah. And from RNC Research, Democrat Dan Osborne's staffers confirm he recruited Graham Platner to run in Maine. And then we've got a back and forth.
So he has also recruited other candidates around the country to run or doing similar things. Really? Like who? Well, there are a few independents. There are a few Democrats. This is not really out there publicly, but he recruited who? He recruited Graham Platner. I don't know who that is. He's running in Maine. He's like news against Collins. He recruited one thing originally. Yeah. Oh. After last election, he started a program to recruit working class candidates to run.
Oh, communists, right?
There's a website I would have to point you to. I don't have the names off the top of my head.
Okay, must be where Graham Platner came from.
So he has also recruited other candidates around the country to run.
Watch it all over again. Honestly, I'm not sure the significance of that. I'm not very familiar with Dan. I know I've heard Dan Osborne's name. I just can't just put a name or put a face to the name at the moment. So anyway, the Patriot Oasis, LMAO, Fox News just ran Eric Swalwell and Graham Platner's video responses to sexual misconduct allegations side by side. The scripts are almost word for word identical. Of course they are. Democrats are really using the same playbook, Clown Show Exposed. That's what they do, man. Democrats, they copy-paste everything, man.
That you see and hear from me directly. I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me.
These allegations of sexual assault are flat false.
Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
I'm going to spend time with my family and friends, and I appreciate those who have reached out to me to show support.
We are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love.
Oh man, that's hilarious. It's too easy. I mean, come on, you can't come up with your own individual statement. No, they have to prepare. Whoever who's writing all of these apology letters or the addressing the allegation letters, clearly it's got to be the same person. And from Florida's Voice. Okay, so we're gonna move past Graham Platner and Andrew Gillum. I remember Andrew Gillum. He ran against Ron DeSantis in 2018 in my state for governor, and he's in some crazy hot water today. A former Tallahassee mayor and 2018 Florida Democratic gubernatorial nominee Andrew Gillum has been arrested on multiple drug charges in Alabama. Not sure why he's in Alabama, but according to public jail records, Gillum was taken into custody by the Daphne Police Department late last week and faces charges involving dangerous drugs, marijuana, and paraphernalia. So I won't go too far into the weeds on this because it's not really swamp related, at least not my opinion. But let's see if we can get at least a little bit of info out of this. So former Democratic gubernatorial nominee and former Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum was arrested on Alabama's Gulf Coast late last week on multiple drug-related charges. Public booking record says Gillum, age 46, was taken into custody by officers with the Daphne Police Department on Thursday night. Baldwin County jail logs indicate he was booked early the following morning and faced 3 charges: possession of dangerous drugs, first offense possession of drug paraphernalia, and second-degree possession of marijuana. He was subsequently released from custody on Friday. All right, I'll just leave it there. But again, everything that I opened, it's all going to be a link down in the description if you want to get into the weeds on that. But the point I wanted to get to was whether if he was released or not. They were holding him for whatever reason. I don't know why they would have held him, especially if it was a first offense. But yeah, man, got arrested on drug charges. He almost, well, I wouldn't say he almost became the governor of Florida, but he became the front runner for the Democrats. So there you go. Libs of TikTok, deranged anti-Trump protester blatantly assaults the Maine Wire reporter with a healthcare for all sign. Hilarious. Of course, they're advocating for slavery because that's what healthcare for all would do, as we've already been over. Then attempts to hobble away. The left is the party of violence. So he's an old man, so he's got to hobble.
When we find out that somebody is not a good person, we don't vote for them.
Which one?
Yeah, which one?
Okay.
Here he comes. Walking toward him.
Whoa, that's assault. Hey, buddy. Hey.
The party of tolerance, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
On full display.
Excuse me, sir.
I didn't see you.
What would you just do that for?
What an asshole.
Hey, excuse me, sir. Why would you just assault me?
You deck him in the face. Oh, I'm sorry, my fist didn't see your fucking face.
Would you like to tell me why you just assaulted me?
On camera. Hope he pressed charges.
I'm sorry. We don't do that.
Yes, you do that. Well, do you answer questions?
But he did.
Not answer questions. Who are you?
I do not answer questions. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
There he goes again.
Sir.
It's all right. It's all right.
Is it? It seems a little bit that he might not be the right type of person for out here.
Yeah, clearly not. Someone who likes to put his hands on other people. Should have been arrested. I don't know if he ended up getting arrested. I certainly hope so. Actually, you know what? Let me just click and see if there was any follow-up. Libs of TikTok, if there was an arrest, I'm sure it would have been mentioned. No, they don't say in the comments whether if he was or not. Who knows? Probably not. I suppose it just depends on where exactly they are. In accordance with the president's Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History order, a new report exposes how the Smithsonian turned the National Museum of American History into a vehicle for radical left propaganda and degeneracy. This is from Rapid Response 47, an official government account, by the way. Here are some of the worst examples. So I believe there's 7 that they have examples for, but they've got, I believe, a link that will give a much longer list. They just cherry-picked 7 out of the list. A museum supposedly for families and children displayed 1, a sadomasochistic crotch harness, and also a trans non-binary person's chest binder, and also pages from a 6-year-old girl's diary in which she prays every night for my penis to grow. This sick material is sexualizing kids. Yeah, it's obviously sexualizing kids, and are putting it on display in the Smithsonian. So there's some images for you. That was on display at the Smithsonian Museum. Free to enter the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. And another one, the museum also featured video clips of drag queens, images of nude women, and a magazine promoting female masturbation. It's sick, explicit content pushed on visitors of all ages at an American history museum. Extremely recent history. So there you go. There's some of the images as it is displayed. And they smeared iconic pieces of our culture as racist. Mickey Mouse equals vestiges of long-standing traditions of black-faced minstrelsy. I don't even know what the hell that word even is. Minstrelsy. Ukulele, a product of U.S. imperialism, and also Wild West shows, turning the subjugation of indigenous people into theater. We trust shared histories that begin with people, show interactions and influences across ethnicity, race, religion, class, gender, and sexuality, disability, background, and belief, illuminate how power works, invite interpretation, cross disciplines, and resonate with the present. So for being such a party of tolerance, they're quite intolerant of certain people. They reframed America's founding as a story of pure evil. Christopher Columbus was a murderer, a slaver, and a thief. I think that Italian Americans would have something different to say about that. Christian pilgrims were colonizers, and Thanksgiving was a national day of mourning. They want you to feel shame for being American. And the next one, in the Benjamin Franklin exhibit, they devoted 20% of the space to enslaved people and asked visitors whether Franklin conducted electric shock experiments on slaves with zero evidence. What, are they trying to say that he was tying kites to black people during a lightning storm? That's what they're trying to get you to believe. So they are absolutely trying to rewrite history in their own image. They took one of America's greatest minds and smeared him with baseless accusations. So let's read the passage. While the sparks of his inventive mind drove research and led to new inventions, they also crackle with the complications of his time, missing from most accounts of Franklin's electrical research. Oh, so that's what they say. They say, well, no, it wasn't that it didn't happen. The pages are just missing. And the people whose labor enabled that work, the women, the indentured servants, and enslaved people who maintained his household, assisted him, or made or operated equipment. Enslaved people helped build his fortune. We still have much to learn about that part of his life and scientific work. Yeah, it's as if he's still alive and he's still providing information. He's still writing his life's work and his literary work. And moving on to, I think this is the last one, their endorsed toolkit for museum professionals listed rational thinking and hard work as traits of white supremacy culture, anti-white racism taught as official museum guidance. That text is too small for me to read. It's not because I can't read text that small, it's just kind of blurry because of the image quality. But I will repost this if you want to read through that. And I believe you can actually save the image onto your phone or onto your desktop or what have you, and you can zoom in from there if the text is too small. But here on the X platform, at least on PC, you can't zoom in with your browser because everything else will get bigger except for the image, because they haven't figured that out yet on X. And let's see. Oh, okay. So we got another one. Number 8. They elevated Angela Davis, who is a Marxist who ran for VP as a communist back in 1980. She called for abolishing police and jails. Does that sound familiar? She was among the FBI's most wanted an armed courtroom takeover that resulted in the murder of a judge. This is who the Smithsonian chose to celebrate. They chose to celebrate this woman. Here's a quote, "In a racist society, it is not enough to be non-racist. We must be anti-racist." Basically, they want to be racist. All right, is that it? Or do we have another one? Okay, so that was it as far as the examples go. And then they finish up with, this is just a sample. The full 162-page report lays out the entire radical left ideological capture of the Smithsonian, which the Trump administration is rightfully correcting. And you could read the full report on whitehouse.gov. .gov website. It's a credible website because it's a .gov website. All 162 pages of material about how the left absolutely just poisoned the Smithsonian, ruined the Smithsonian for a period of time, but it sounds like they're starting to put actual history back in the Smithsonian Museum, American history. And let's move on to the next topic. Tyler Robinson's parents leave the 4th District Courthouse in Provo, Utah after day 2 of preliminary hearings concludes. So this just shows them leaving the courthouse. which this is being streamed live. I'm assuming it's going to be all over YouTube. So if you want to watch the pre-trial hearings, I think there's 5 in total. They're just going to do pre-trial throughout this week. You can tune in and watch it live on a channel on YouTube. I can't give you an exact channel, but I do know that the judge allowed cameras and allowed streaming. And I don't think he needs any introduction, but for anybody who's not familiar, anybody who's been living under a rock, Tyler Robinson, he's the individual who murdered Charlie Kirk. And I guess technically, I should say allegedly, but dude, the evidence is insanely overwhelming. Open and shut. So that was his parents leaving. And from Laura Loomer, LOL, and I'm the most reserved person in the world. So she's talking about Mitch McConnell. He's back in the news. Senator Mitch McConnell, 84, calls GOP allies from the hospital to dispel internet chatter that he is brain dead, because that was circulating around the internet yesterday that Mitch McConnell must be brain dead. He's been in the hospital for like, what, 2 weeks or 3 weeks at this point. So he calls his GOP allies, at least according to them, to say that, oh no, I'm perfectly fine. My brain functions. I'm not brain dead. Why wouldn't he have just called the New York Post directly? Why wouldn't he just call any mainstream media outlet and just said, hey, this is Mitch McConnell. I'm not going to stay on the phone. Just letting you know I'm not brain dead because I'm talking to you right now. Have a nice day, and hang up. And there you go. You could quote him. Mitch McConnell's not brain dead. We literally just talked to him on the phone instead of getting it through hearsay. From Washington, Kentucky, Senator Mitch McConnell has been making phone calls from his hospital bed to Republican allies to dispel internet rumors that he's brain dead after a 911 dispatch calls reveal the 84-year-old was rushed off unconscious from his D.C. home in an ambulance last month. Dude's still in the hospital after a month. Well, maybe not a month, since last month. The longest-serving Senate leader of either party reached out to his successor, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, Senator John Barrasso from Wyoming, as well as ex-advisor and current CNN contributor Scott Jennings, following ex-posts from right-wing firebrand Laura Loomer about an alleged cover-up of McConnell's failing health. Yeah, she's been spreading that around for at least the last day or two. Senator McConnell appreciates the outpouring of support he's receiving while he continues his recovery in the hospital. A spokesperson for his office said in a statement, the senator continues to improve and is working closely with the staff on Kentucky and Senate matters while the Senate is out of session. It must be really nice to have such wonderful insurance that would allow you to stay in the hospital for as long as you want, because all the rest of us, we're getting shoved out of the hospital as fast as humanly possible. A lot of people give birth to children and they're out of the hospital within 12 hours. It's absolutely brutally crazy, so it must be nice to be a fancy-pants senator. McConnell's Senate colleagues issued statements that the retiring Republican was alert and chatty. Leader Thune spoke with Senator McConnell yesterday by phone. A spokesperson for the Majority Leader's office said, why do we hear this from Leader Thune himself? Why do we got to get through hearsay? They had a lengthy and substantive conversation that covered a variety of topics, including national security. Look, as far as I'm concerned, they're not dispelling any rumors. They're actually amplifying these rumors. They're actually kind of making Laura Loomer's point for her, because we're not hearing anything from Mitch McConnell. We're just hearing from all of his allies that Mitch McConnell's fine. Why don't we hear it just from Mitch McConnell himself? Look, like I said, he could call the New York Post, tell him, record this. I'm just letting you know this is Mitch McConnell. I'm perfectly fine. I'm still in the hospital. Should be out in a couple of days. And then they could have just played the clip on the news, played it on a website, or even dropped it right here on the X platform. So yeah, I'm not 100% convinced. Is he brain dead? Probably not. I doubt it. Although, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Breaking number 1, an ICE officer fatally shot an illegal alien from Mexico in Houston after the man allegedly rammed an ICE vehicle and attempted to run over an agent during an enforcement operation, according to ICE. Oh, shit. All right. Don't think it got graphic or anything. Didn't hear any gunshots or anything like that. Just guy driving by. But we do have the response from Homeland Security. On July 7th, 2026, at approximately 6:50 a.m. Central Time, ICE law enforcement attempted to conduct a vehicle stop as part of a targeted enforcement operation to arrest an illegal alien. The driver of the vehicle, Lorenzo Saldago Araujo, an illegal alien from Mexico, attempted to evade arrest. From information we are receiving, he rammed an ICE law enforcement vehicle, refused to follow multiple verbal commands, and weaponized his vehicle in an attempt to run over an ICE law enforcement officer, resulting in our officer firing his weapon in self-defense. The driver was struck and emergency services were immediately contacted. The driver was transported to the hospital where he passed away from his injuries. DHS OIG is leading an investigation into the agent-involved shooting. FBI Houston is leading an investigation into the potential assault on a federal law enforcement officer. This is a developing situation, and we will update the public when more information is available. I certainly hope they have body cameras. Certainly hope that at least they had dash cameras that could release the footage and prove, because you already know where this is going to go as far as the left's concerned. I'm sure they're already printing out all the signs, all the picket signs and all that nonsense. Probably going to be descending on all the major deep blue cities by the thousands this weekend, protesting ICE yet again. Some innocent person was killed by Trump's Gestapo. From ABC News, Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers shot and killed a Mexican drug national during an incident in Houston on Tuesday. I have no idea why I thought drug. The agency said. So when they frame it the way that they frame it, now you kind of understand why I'm assuming that there's probably going to be widespread protest this weekend, because they just simply say that ICE shot and killed a Mexican national during an incident. They might as well have said an innocent Mexican national. They might as well. And CNN probably did say that exactly. So, all right. So because we got the statement from Homeland Security, this is the swamp. So I'm going to go with the officials as opposed to the mainstream media. I will be fair, though. I'll link it, and you can check that out down below in the description, abcnews.com. That might be the only ABC News article that I have for tonight's video. So that will probably be the only one below if you want to read into the details. If you trust ABC News, it'll be down there for you. And from Secretary Sean Duffy, Tobias Toby Forsyth was just 21, a star goalie for the UMass Lowell soccer team with his whole life ahead of him. On Sunday, his life was stolen. A massive semi-truck driven by Bekzod Asrarov rammed the back of Toby's car on I-71 in Madison County, Ohio, killing him instantly. At the crash scene, the truck driver ripped out his dash cam and hid it in his pocket. He failed his English language proficiency test, and state troopers had to use Google Translate to talk to him. We cannot let truckers like Asrarov, who can't read our road signs or speak to law enforcement, drive an 80,000-pound rig on America's highways. I'm praying for Toby's family and loved ones after this horrible loss. We will never stop fighting to keep these dangerous truck drivers off the road so no other parents have to endure this unimaginable grief. So passed away, unfortunately, instantly on Sunday because they didn't say whether if he was an illegal immigrant or not. I'm assuming perhaps he might not be, because I'm sure Secretary Sean Duffy would have made that very clear that he was an illegal immigrant. Maybe he was here on a visa or something, but regardless, if you can't read English and can't speak English, I believe it's the law now that you can't be driving a truck, semi-truck. Anyway, sure there's going to be more of that to come. If he is an illegal immigrant or not, I bet we're going to find out in the coming days. Rapid Response 47 from Real Tom Homan, the border czar. We've removed thousands of illegal immigrants with CDLs. The DHS is working with Secretary Sean Duffy and his department. The problem is, in places like New York, ICE and CBP can't even get access to the DMV database to run the checks. Thank God, Todd Blanche, who is the acting attorney general, is suing these cities as they come up and will continue to sue. That way, this incident won't happen in the future. That's exactly what they're trying to stop.
Well, look, we removed thousands of illegal aliens with CDLs. We're working very closely with many states. DHS is working hand in hand with Sean Duffy and his department. So the problem is we're working very well with red states. Blue states is still a struggle, right? Places like New York, I mean, ICE and CBP can't even get access to the DMV database to run the checks. So, you know, the continuation of sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, you know, thank God, you know, Todd Blanche is suing these cities as they come up, and we got to keep suing them. But we're out there, you know, Dana enforcing law. We're out there looking for these illegal aliens, CDLs. In the last 5 days, ICE has arrested over 10,000 illegal aliens, which is a record for the agency. So we're hitting on all cylinders. There's just a lot of these people to find, but we're out there every day looking for them.
Yeah, they don't want to get rid of their sanctuary state status, because if or when, probably when, because you know how the pendulum swings politically from one side to the other. If another Democrat president gets in and the Democrats take over Congress again, they're going to open up the southern border, flood tens of millions more into the country. They're not going to want to settle in the red states because those aren't sanctuary states. The beacons of light will be in the blue states with big sanctuary state signs, and they're going to flood them in and try to I suppose, usher in some form of direct democracy. So that way the majority rules, because we're the ones with all the innocent human beings, the American migrants that we have in our state that we do count. But all of that will go away if we just simply get rid of, or we simply add a non-U.S. citizen to the census, or at least ask the question and then omit them from the census, because illegals should not be counted in the census. It's absolutely ridiculous. Only Americans should be. From Homeland Security, another criminal illegal alien arrested in Sanctuary Spanburgers, Virginia. Juan Arevalo, a criminal illegal alien from El Salvador, was arrested by Fairfax County Police for arring and kidnapping a woman. Governor Spanberger and Virginia sanctuary politicians' reckless policies continue making Virginia a hotbed for illegal alien crime. And they don't give a shit, because these stories come out at least on a weekly basis, and just on and on.
ICE says just a few days ago, Fairfax County Police arrested Juan Arevalo for rape and kidnapping.
Real winner there.
Arevalo has a long rap sheet, which includes 2 convictions of aggravated assault, 2 for property damage, as well as attempted maiming, failure to appear, aggravated assault with a weapon, assault twice, drug possession, illegal reentry, making a false report, and obstructing justice. He was also previously arrested for assault, abduction, identity theft, drug possession, and larceny. Sean Kennedy with Virginians for Safe Communities tells us some of those crimes might never have happened had Fairfax County Commonwealth's Attorney Steve Descano not dropped previous charges against Arevalo, or if he had notified ICE he was in custody so they could deport him.
He's accused of rape 1, which is the most serious crime in Virginia short of murder. He's eligible for life in prison, and previously was arrested after a very dangerous high-speed chase where he put not only officers' lives in danger, but a number of people on 495. So this individual is very dangerous and has proven himself a threat to the community, and was yet again released by Steve Descano.
In January, Fairfax County Police arrested Arevalo after a high-speed chase on 495. Arevalo bailed out of the car and ran, but police caught up to him and arrested him on outstanding warrants in Fairfax County for crimes including abduction and assaulting a family member. Descano's office dropped those charges along with the fleeing law enforcement charge.
And I wonder why he's in Virginia. Oh, because it's a sanctuary state. That's where the worst of the worst criminals find themselves, because they are protected by the politicians that their Americans are voting for. And I don't know why they keep voting for these politicians, but they are. Let's see. Nick Minnock says an illegal immigrant is charged for kidnapping and arring a woman in Fairfax County, Virginia. So if you want to read some of the text in addition to the video, that'll be linked to WIJLA.com. WJLA, not WIWJLA. ABC 7 News. There you go. Let's move on to the next one. And we've got from Homeland Security, violent threats against law enforcement will not be tolerated. Cody Lee Smith from West Virginia, this time, was arrested for threatening both President Trump and ICE agents. Smith called it the ICE tip line and threatened to kill the tip line operator, the operator's family, and ICE agents in Clarksburg, West Virginia. Right now, our law enforcement officers are facing an 8,000% increase in death threats. This violence against law enforcement must end. So yeah, the 8,000 increase. Surprised it's not even higher than that, because they've been using that same number for months at this point. You might want to recheck those numbers, because it's probably even higher than that now. And from FBI Los Angeles, as part of Operation Hardball, the FBI and our law enforcement partners throughout California, other U.S. cities, and in Canada, and India, and Europe, collaborated to execute dozens of search and arrest warrants targeting 37 members of violent transnational organizations who are charged with engaging in racketeering, targeted killings, shootings, extortion, the trafficking of bulk quantities of narcotics across international borders, and other crimes around the world. They just keep arresting and arresting and arresting, man.
Escalating violence,
keep it up.
Impacting California, Canada, Europe, and the United States by groups claiming allegiance to Lawrence Bishnoi and Jagmu Bhawanporia organized crime groups. These violent acts include political and religious assassinations, shootings, murders, kidnappings, extortions, assaults, weapons, and drug trafficking. During the investigation, FBI agents and law enforcement officials seized over 1,000 kilograms of drugs and dozens of weapons. Some of that is on display here today for you. This case was
I was muted. I was saying that the FBI, they've got to have hundreds of operations going on simultaneously. It's like every other day, I come across something from the FBI and they've got another operation. Here's another operation, this one, Operation Hardball. And I believe that I've got another video, no, not a video, but I do have a statement from FBI Director Kash Patel on Operation Hardball, the latest in this FBI successful mission with the interagency to crush organized crime networks. Today, with our brilliant law enforcement partners across the country, as well as Canada, Europe, India, and Mexico, we arrested 24 subjects and charged 37 individuals connected to 3 India-based transnational organized crime groups with charges including racketeering, extortion, narcotics trafficking, and multiple targeted killings, including even the 2023 assassination in Canada of a prominent Indian political and religious figure. The work of our Homeland Security Task Force and foreign partners like the RCMP in this case was truly historic, indicting 30-plus subjects across multiple continents in a single operation, and serves a reminder that this FBI and the Justice Department will identify, pursue, and break organized crime hurting American citizens in any corner of the earth. And they tagged in the FBI Los Angeles. Charges announced in transnational organized crime group investigation. An investigation involving murder and illicit drugs led to multiple arrests in California and locations out of the country. And there you go, man. The FBI still hard at work. Another one from Homeland Security. Under President Trump and Secretary Mullen, we will continue hunting down criminals and prosecuting innocent civilians. We got another clip from Homeland Security.
This morning, we are announcing the arrest of 10 defendants who have either been indicted by...
Let's try that again.
This morning, we are announcing the arrest of 10 defendants who have either been indicted by a federal grand jury for trafficking or benefiting from sex trafficking of individuals in the Figueroa corridor. Operation Broken Blade is the first gang RICO case for human trafficking brought in the history of the Central District of California.
Oh, wow.
The indictment is extremely lengthy and it details out horrific facts of the case. 51 victims, children and young women who are physically and psychologically abused in an exploitation cycle for profit. Children as young as 14 years old, forced into cars with strange men to have sex for money.
Wow.
That's the type of defendants we're dealing with today.
Well, God knows how long Democrats have allowed this to happen. Who knows? Years, decades. Like they really give a shit. They don't seem to give a shit. They got to leave it up to Trump's federal government to take care of business in California. From Tom Emmer, the GOP Majority Whip, 436 open investigations should be a wake-up call to all Minnesotans that they deserve better state leadership. Taxpayers should never have to worry about their hard-earned money being stolen because their leaders failed to protect it. And this is from KSTP. The agency confirmed it now has 436 open investigations into daycares that receive taxpayer support, including CCAP funding. That is a lot of open investigations. You would think that the people in Minnesota would have enough, they would have had enough of all this fraud and all this money that's been stolen from them, but I guess, I don't know, man. I guess we'll just have to wait and see on November the 3rd. We'll see what they end up voting for, at least on the local level. If they got any local elections happening then, I don't know. In a move to detect fraud more quickly, Minnesota has begun rolling out a long-discussed electronic attendance system for its taxpayer-funded childcare program, but only a tiny portion of the program is required to use it to start. The new system allows investigators and program administrators to compare attendance and billing records electronically, a change that outside auditors have urged for years as a way to strengthen oversight of the state's Child Care Assistance Program, known as CCAP. Assistant Commissioner Bahardi Wahi of the Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families said the agency has been steadily working towards stronger program integrity measures since 2019. Well, obviously, they haven't been working steadily enough. We want this program to go to those who need it the most, and part of our responsibility is to really make sure that we are taking program integrity very seriously. Well, are you? It doesn't seem like you really are. The rollout comes amid heightened scrutiny of the taxpayer-funded child care program. The agency confirmed it now has 436 open investigations into daycares that receive taxpayer support, including CCAP funding. I'd like to know what the average number is for all the other states. That sounds like a wildly, extremely high number for daycares specifically. Most states, like, they might have a dozen, they might have 12, 15, 16 open investigations, maybe with how they're handling taxpayer funds, but 436 sounds like an absolutely insane number. In April, state and federal authorities executed search warrants at 9 Twin Cities area daycares as part of a large-scale fraud investigation. Billing records previously obtained by 5 investigates shows the providers under investigation received millions of dollars in taxpayer funding and saw billings increase dramatically over a 2-year period. So they just keep billing them, and I guess they just keep essentially giving them, cutting blank checks to them. Because I guess, at least in the state of Minnesota, you can just write down whatever number you want, however many zeros you want to put at the end of the number, and they'll just give it to you, apparently. Asked why a sharp rise in billings did not trigger alarm bells at DCYF, because they don't give a shit because they're not paying attention, Wahi pointed to the state's transition to electronic attendance tracking. Oh, because it's all electronic. We don't know how computers work, apparently, in the state of Minnesota. The Department of Children, Youth, and Families declined to provide the number of providers currently under investigation by its Office of Inspector General. State officials said the first phase of the electronic attendance rollout includes 81 providers, representing less than 10% of childcare providers participating in the program. I mean, you love how they just downplay that. Well, it's less than 10%. I mean, it might as well be zero. It's just so little. It's only like 400 and something that are under investigation. Rather than them saying that it's an alarming 10% that 1 in 10 childcare providers are stealing taxpayer money. I mean, what the hell? Some providers argue the system is limited because it does not require real-time attendance reporting. Well, that would probably be a problem. Penny Allen, Chief Financial Officer for New Horizon Academy, the state's largest child care provider, said the current system allows attendance records to be submitted after the fact rather than automatically uploaded in real time. Well, that sounds like a very simple fix. Just fix that, and then they will be able to view the attendance in real time. Why not just have a system? As soon as the child checks in, you check them in on whatever the system is. You just click a simple button, and there you go. They're added to the database. They're in attendance. It's not a real online system. It's an after-the-fact attendance system. Okay, we'll fix it. She said the system isn't ready to go yet. Well, when will it be ready? Year 2070? Why did not provide a timeline for statewide implementation? Of course not, because they probably don't ever intend on it being implemented. I mean, come on. Saying that only the agency hopes to continue expanding the system to additional provider groups in future phases. Okay, so the future. The future could be, 150 years from now, or it could be next week. But, knowing the state of Minnesota, I highly doubt that they're even taking this system seriously, if it even exists in the first place. Probably doesn't even exist. That's just what they're saying. That's what they're trying to tell us. Like, oh yeah, we're on top of it. We're trying to roll out this robust electronic system, even though we apparently don't know how to use computers. All right, so Scott Brady, federal money meant for educational opportunities should help students, not fraudsters, who often fund violent crime with what they steal. Grateful for the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, and her team, the U.S. Education Department, who have been incredible partners in the war on fraud. Secretary Linda McMahon, nearly $2 billion saved at the DOE, and more to come.
Called Ghost Students. These are alleged
Ghost
scammers
students
who enroll in college in order to steal financial aid.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
David Spunts on that. Washington, D.C. How big of an issue is this? David.
Well, Bill, and they have no intention of actually getting a degree from the anti-fraud task force run out of the White House to the fraud unit inside the DOJ. Stopping fraud is a priority for the administration. Today, Education Department officials will get their turn in the spotlight. The Office of Inspector General is confronting the problem at the Higher Education Fraud Summit going on now. The problem the department is trying to combat, as you mentioned, the ghost students, the students who enroll only to steal financial aid with no intention of actually getting a degree. It's costing taxpayers tens of millions, if not more. Artificial intelligence, of course, AI only accelerating the schemes by making them harder to detect. It's making the fraud more sophisticated and quick. But education leaders promised, Bill, that they are working to stop this alleged fraud. Education Secretary Linda McMahon was brought in to eventually close down the Education Department, giving the responsibilities back to the states. And while she's slowly closing down the department, there is much work to be done, she says.
But it would take an act of Congress to fully close it down. Case in point, I should say, the free application.
Probably by the end of this calendar year, we would have saved about $2 billion. Wow. That's a lot of money. And I serve on the Vice President's a fraud task force. Right. Every agency is charged with finding fraud, and we're all working incredibly hard to save taxpayer dollars.
And I should say that she was talking about FAFSA, which is the fraud application for
federal
financial aid. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche over at the Justice Department has also prioritized fraud. Bill, his hearing to be the full-time Attorney General is scheduled for next week.
Okay, Bill. All right, we'll track that, David.
I think it's the free application for federal student aid. I don't know, it's been a while since I was involved with all that, but I think that's what that stands for. But with these scammers, they're just going to take the money. They don't have any interest in going to college because they know what they're really teaching there. They're smarter than a lot of the college students, apparently. And let's move on to the next one. Let's see, Scott Brady, Secretary Linda McMahon, Rapid Response 47. Here we go with the president touching down in Ankara, Turkey, where he's greeted by President Erdogan. I can never pronounce his name, just like many others can't pronounce anybody's name. Erdogan, ahead of the NATO summit. And is President Trump just getting off the plane, off the new Air Force One. Probably don't have to watch the entire thing. It's just him slowly walking down the stairs, being all presidential. So we'll skip it a little bit. And down the stairs. Being all diplomatic. Okay, President Trump at the plane. He's in Turkey. Let's go to the White House. President Trump participates in a bilateral meeting with the President of the Republic of Turkey. And this is going to be the entire video. We're not going to watch the whole video. It's kind of long, but we'll check out a minute or two.
You've been a great leader and a respected leader all over the world, and we really do. We've had right from the beginning good chemistry. We've had a very special relationship. Turkey has become, under the president, a very powerful country militarily. People don't know how powerful, actually. And they have a lot of our equipment, and they have a lot of great soldiers, and they're really somebody to be reckoned with. And the nice part is that because of the relationship that we have, it's all gone very well. I just want to say that I have a lot of respect for the president, and I think it's really to the benefit of both countries. We're going to be talking today about trade. We're going to be talking about other things having to do with the military, lots of different things. Probably we'll mention Iran, where we have essentially decimated their military. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. And we're going to have some very good discussions. But we do a lot of trade with Turkey. We make great things, and they make great things, and we've had it's had a very big impact on both of our countries. So I just want to tell you that it's an honor to be with you, and we're going to have a lot of good meetings. We're going to have good dinners, good food. We're going to have a good time, but mostly we're going to have a lot of work, and we're going to do good things for our countries. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Now they're going to do the Q&As. And I'll repost this, again, direct link below to my X profile. You can check it out, or go to @WhiteHouse. It's also available there. They posted this 13 hours ago, so at 8:43 a.m. on July 7th. So you can get the exact timestamp, scroll all the way down, because the White House, they post all day long. Or you can go the easy way, just click on my profile, and you can view it there. And moving on to Senator Dick Durbin. The Democrat, Senator Dick Durbin, he's the leader for the Democrats in the Senate. He says, well, no, he's not the leader. He's the minority whip or something like that, right? He's the Democratic whip and ranking member. No, Chuck Schumer is the leader for the Democrats in the Senate. Anyway, Senator Dick Durbin is from Illinois. He says, I'm with a bipartisan congressional delegation in Ankara, Turkey, to attend the 2026 NATO summit. So he flew to Turkey with President Trump as Putin continues to wage his war of aggression against Ukraine and menace our Baltic allies. We must remain unified in our fight for democracy.
I'm with a bipartisan delegation here in Ankara, Turkey. We're gathering to talk about the future of NATO, and particularly the future helping the folks that are battling the Russians and Putin in Ukraine. We want to make sure that they end up...
Yeah, because that's what the American people want. We want more of our money going to Ukraine.
Really organized and put the best foot forward to achieve these goals. I'm with the bipartisan...
Okay. I guess he's there. He wants to get more money, more of your money to Ukraine and my money. From Sean Parnell, he works at the Department of War, the official account for the assistant to the Secretary of War for Public Affairs, Chief Pentagon. Let's see. So the War Department has never been hotter. We need to keep it that way, which is why when Congress returns, we must pass Reconciliation 3.0. Pretty sure President Trump's going to say, well, I'll pass it if you attach the Save America Act to it. But anyway, let's see what he says. The United States military has never been stronger or more powerful. No other nation can do what we do. It's not even close. This year, we set even more historic recruiting records months ahead of schedule. Morale has never been higher. Our military's unmatched power was on full display during our celebration of 250 years of American independence. And like our country, the War Department has never been hotter. We need to keep it that way, which is why when Congress returns, we must pass Reconciliation 3.0 with $350 billion for defense endorsements, plus the Save America Act. I'm calling on House and Senate leadership to make this their #1 priority and ensure that $350 billion in Recon 3.0 moves out of the Budget Committee as soon as Congress is back in session. The Save America Act, which is what everyone is asking for, paired with the full funding of our great Department of War, can be passed very quickly, ensuring that the United States of America stays free for generations to come. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Not sure if they're going to attach it or not, but they better. They better attach the Save America Act to it. Not that the Democrats are going to vote for it. From the White House, Freedom Fuel has arrived. I have never even heard of this program. I guess they're rolling out a program called Freedom Fuel. The first Freedom Fuel Network gas station has landed in Philadelphia, lowering the price at the pump to $3.47 for our 47th president. President Trump is leading the charge to lower gas prices this summer, putting more money in your pocket. I mean, $3.47 is still, you know, historically, it's still astronomically high. I don't think we're ever going to get used to $3.47 gas. It's still freaking crazy.
I saved money. I had to go back in and get my change. I thought gas was more expensive, but it's not. So thanks, Trump, for saving me some money.
We're here at the first Freedom Fuel Network.
Oh, good grief.
Gas station.
All right, I got to go through and adjust my settings. 2K quality it's too heavy for my computer. It can't handle it because I can't afford the big fancy computers. So I got to adjust the
here at the first
settings.
Freedom Fuel Network gas
Freedom
station
Fuel
right here in Philadelphia, leading the charge to lower gas prices, $3.47. That's for our 47th president, President Donald J. Trump. The price of gas here is 50 cents lower than the Pennsylvania average gas price.
4th of July, gas prices are coming down, which is great.
I am very happy about the cheap gas prices.
Happy 4th of July.
Hopefully everyone has a great holiday. Super pumped the gas prices are lowered.
I'm just grateful. Right now, we're in a difficult time in this world, but it's nice to see some stability that we can enjoy.
Definitely appreciate the lower gas prices.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
When I saw it, I thought it was fake news, but I'm glad it's true. I definitely couldn't believe my eyes. When I just rolled past, I'm actually taking a trip down the shore, so I wasn't even going to come and get the gas, but I'm glad I did, because now it just saved me a lot of money. Thanks a lot, Trump. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you for helping our country.
It's President Donald J. Trump leading the charge to lower gas prices right here at Freedom Fuel Network's gas stations.
Okay, Freedom Fuel. Why do I have the feeling that that's oil that we obtained from Iran? From all those oil tankers that we were secretly sneaking out of Iran under the cover of darkness during Operation Epic Fury by the millions of barrels. Anyway, I guess they're creating this whole network. I'm not sure who's running this. If it's I don't know, Shell or Chevron or whoever it might be. But I guess you might see a Freedom Fuel gas station popping up where you live, maybe. All right, so we're going to finish off with VA Secretary Doug Collins. You can't walk through the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force without walking through America's story. While aircraft are impressive, it's the men and women who flew, maintained, and supported them that built this legacy. We owe them more than our thanks. We owe them our commitment to take care of them long after we hang up the uniform.
Everybody, it's Doug. Hey, we're still out here on the road. We're out here at the Air Force Museum, which has been great, but also right here in front of an AT-6. It is amazing to watch. We've got a B-29 behind us here, and Fifi is with us. But the one thing I wanted to point out is the VA, we take care of veterans for all ages. When you come to a museum like this, you're standing on the history of why the VA exists. The VA exists for veterans who've gone before, and the veterans who are coming out, and the veterans who will be. One of the neat things about this is our WASP trainer. This was our females. They're signed up here. They were some amazing pilots. They're part of the history of our country and our veterans. And for the VA, we take care of our veterans no matter where they come from. And we're glad to be here to see these kind of planes and see what happens. Steve Shapiro's here with the Commemorative Air Force. Steve, what y'all got going on today?
Well, we're out here today at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force till 5 p.m. giving cockpit tours of Fifi, the B-29. We asked folks to come on out, see the aircraft. It's a rare opportunity to get inside a World War II bomber. We'd love to see you out here.
And that's it. We're off to see some more veterans, but you never know where I'm going to turn up next, so keep watching.
Hell yeah, man. All right. From the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs with the Air Force. And that is going to do it for tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed the video, please give a quick like and subscribe on your way out. And I'll be back with another episode tomorrow as we explore the swamp Monday through Friday. Also, I post daily on X, which is where you can peek at some of the content for tomorrow's episode. And don't forget the video clips from tonight will be dropping on this channel tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for watching. God bless the troops and God bless America.